Welcome, everybody from around the world. We're looking to launch our Immersive Learning Research Network Global Scan. Thank you for joining our global call today, Saturday, November 8th. My name's Jonathon Richter. I'm the CEO of the Immersive Learning Research Network, and I'm pleased today to have my colleague, Maya Georgieva, the director of Immersive Futures for iLRN, as well as many other titles and honorifics. So we're super excited today for the empowering regional voices to shape the future of immersive education and our State of XR and Immersive Learning project. Um, yeah, you want to say hi to everybody, Maya?
Hello, everyone. I'm just checking in on the chat here, and I see familiar names, not faces, but I see familiar names here, and I'm really excited for us to get together and launch the iLRN Global Scan call today. So welcome, everyone. Welcome. This is one of multiple sessions that Jonathan and I hope to convene in the next few weeks towards the end of the year. Some of you know me here. I do see some names that I do not recognize, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Maya Georgieva, and I am the lead author for the third edition of the Immersive Learning State of XR an immersive learning report, as well as instrumental for all three editions. So I'm excited to move into the fourth edition with all of you. And some of you have been contributors and panelists in the past, so good to see those names joining us again today. I'm also the senior director at the Innovation Center with three labs, Quantum Lab, AI Lab, and of course the XR Lab, our founding lab at the New School and Parsons School of Design in New York City. So I see, as usually happens with these things, people are joining us slowly, so we're growing a little bit. So
Hi,
again,
everyone.
welcome.
Yeah, this is great. So yeah, this is our we're happy to welcome you all to form this larger circle. We hope you're all interested in joining us to collectively kind of map the global trends that are shaping and really emerging in different places around the world around concerning immersive learning and extended reality. We also really think this is an opportunity for us to come together and amplify one another's capacity. So this is a great opportunity to author and shine a light on what's going on in your place of the world and in your area of expertise concerning immersive learning. For those of you who have not participated with the Immersive Learning Research Network, we're an open science, open design network that seeks to co-create with the broad diversity of experts across this immersive learning emerging field. So thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for being curious about this. I hope we can entice you to jumping onto our Discord server, joining our network, and launching into this next phase of immersive learning along with this incredible potential that's been emerging worldwide. So like Maya said, she's the lead of our Immersive Futures project. She's on our board of directors, and she is a XR strategist as well as works at the as senior director for the Innovation Center at the New School in New York City. Thank you so much, Maya, for joining us and continuing to lead the way for everyone.
I'm always excited to be working with you, Jonathan, of course, leading the way with iLRN and the entire community, which is what we are to do again for our fourth edition.
Yeah.
So I'm delighted to be here and looking forward to really s- kicking off these conversations.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We've prepared some parts of this community for people to slide in and join quickly, and we've left a number of other scaffolds and pieces of this ready for your co-creation. So Some of it's together and some of it's not quite yet there. And we're happy to welcome a bunch of leaders and thought experts from across the network who've helped us put this together, including our Circle of Scholars, this esteemed group of top experts from across this emerging discipline, our immersive learning, education, and design group with their innovation garden and the incredible practitioners in education and design who are really creating tutorials and how-to and demonstrations of all the amazing things that are going on in applied teaching and learning. And then also our scholars with our growing knowledge tree, which is the evidence base, our evidence tree of knowledge with computer science and learning sciences and game design sort of as the trunk of our tree. That's sort of the foundations of immersive learning. You got to have the technology, you got to have the interface, and you need to have it focused or anchored in learning. And then there's all these branches of applied learning on our knowledge tree, on our evidence base. And those are like medical education and healthcare, and nature and environmental sciences, and workforce and industry, all of these expert areas where immersive learning is being applied. So, futures, this emerging edge of all the things that are new and coming up, science doesn't have them yet codified. And so this futures aspect is our third piece of our immersive learning research network ecosystem. And we're super excited to gather what we know of 2025 together and publish sort of a report on what's happening on this emerging edge together. So we've got a basic, we're making our way through our welcome. We've got just a few minutes left to do that, Maya. And we're going to then circle to kind of discussing this fourth edition of the State of XR and Immersive Learning and how you can participate in that and the timeline around that. And then we'll dive in a little bit more into how we propose to work with you all to scan the globe and do scans in local areas to produce a report, as well as an opportunity for you all to do your own futures methodology in terms of a research, a case study, a scenario, a futures trend report on a phenomenon that you happen to have some expertise in. And there's opportunities for you to do that as well. And then we'll have a bit of discussion about doing this scanning, and then reinforce the opportunities for you to jump into our State of XR and go from next steps, and that'll bring us to the top of the hour. Are we ready?
Let's go.
All right.
All right.
Here you go, Maya.
So, so I see definitely some familiar names, and some of you have already participated as expert panel in the past, or contributing in some other ways, or part of the iLRN network. So no matter who you are, it's exciting to see you here. And as Jonathon said, these are new opportunities to get involved. First off, let me just very quickly give you the heads up how the State of Exciting Immersive Learning report works so far has been to kind of really focus on three main research questions. And those questions are for us to look into opportunities, barriers, and challenges. And this is the core of what has been the Global Trends Report. And what we're doing this year, we're expanding. We're taking this into and expanding it so that you can actually participate by contributing a regional perspective, something that you are very familiar with locally, that you're participating, contributing, or just colleagues that you're talking within sort of your local framework and your local context. So this is an exciting opportunity. Normally, that has been complementing complemented by research and some of the contributions of the expert panels. But this year, we're doing something different. We're leaning in on all the things we've learned over the last 3 editions and almost 5 years at this point, and trying to bring some things that we've practiced and some new things. So we're kicking this off, and we are going to convene a series of webinars. And some of you have participated in the past in similar session where we, really kind of do some futuring together. And that's an excellent opportunity, whether you're new or just getting into it or just kind of getting back to it. And in addition to that, we are inviting you to actually kind of lead local efforts, similar efforts locally. So that what will become now sort of the second part of part one, which is the Global Trends Report, would be actually a regional brief. And that will draw on some of the contributions that come from you. Now, we're going to be offering a variety of different opportunities for those contributions. Now, we know we're all busy, but it's important that you use some of the tool set that we'll be sharing with you, some of the opportunities to share digitally online via the Discord community, to bring things that might be a little bit kind of more things that you spot in the press, or there's an event, local event in your community that you'd like to share. Maybe they publish something, maybe a colleague of you published something. So all this will be a good opportunity to share via the Discord page in bringing your kind of local insight into the report, as well as what is going to build the regional brief. And some of you maybe like sort of we actually pretty much open-ended in terms of how you may convene regionally, but we hope that you convene beyond your institution. I think that's what both Jonathon and I kind of were thinking about those. It could be within your just as sort of region, as neighboring universities within a distance, with a kind of within commuting distance, or within the same city that you are already in some partnerships, but it should be expand beyond your university or your lab or your organization to bring in some additional participation. And so this is something that we're going to also, I think, facilitate through the Discord and continue to provide additional framework beyond today. But Jonathon will walk us through the Discord soon, and also some of the tool set that we have been working on emerging to support you all. Jonathon, would you like to say something before we go to kind of part two, to talk about the what we consider section one of the expanded version of the report now?
Yeah, just thank you. You did a great job of providing that good high level overview and introduction to the process, Maya. I did just want to add that, while we've had this global expert panel from the beginning of our State of XR, this is the first time we're combining kind of two things where we're opening it up, obviously. We're asking for the rest of our community and the world at large to collaborate with us. So we want to make this a very an open science, kind of open design, open learning society project. But it's also the first time we've systematically tried to focus on the geographic continents and regions and really get like a thorough scan of each of these places so that we can start to compare and contrast, not so we can find out who's like ranking them or anything, but this will help surface opportunities. It'll help surface some of the gaps where immersive learning activists might want to focus. It'll focus on a collaborative aspect. So as Maya was saying, we really want you to join with us in a spirit of hard work and co-authoring and really developing this, but also in shared capacity building and collaboration. This is a co-design effort. So I guess that's what I would like to just add. Do you want to go to the next?
Sure. So, so new this year, in addition to the regional briefs, is actually the whole new section 2 to the report, which is an opportunity for you to participate with something that is a little bit more polished. So I think in the regional briefs, because we're interested in as much collaboration and contribution from the region, I think it's important to kind of scan this a little bit beyond sort of our own neighborhoods. I think that will be a synthesis. It will be a synthesis. But what we also was like, what we're doing this year new is actually having a section which is going to be peer-reviewed contributions. What that means is that we're expecting sort of journal level papers, something on practice-based case study, experimentation and learning design that you're working on within probably within the context of your organization or your university, or even better, collaborating with others on this. And so that will be a whole new section. That section will be definitely something that will be peer reviewed. So every contribution will be attributed to the author or teams of authors, which we expect that there will be multiple authors on a good number of those. And we still want you to be within your context, and we hope that that will actually amplify the regional briefs and also provide more detail, more research, and in more ways we can actually start to see sort of that practice and really give you the opportunity to expand on it. And so that second section is new to the report, and we're very excited to actually add that. We've traditionally done mini case study on on a practice that is anchored within one of our trends or and then kind of doing global research around where this is present, and oftentimes universities, labs, centers across the world. But now we give you the opportunity to really shine and bring this. And also we'd like to those to be at to kind of live up to the expectation and quality, both that will celebrate your research and your practice, as well will make a valid contribution to the report, and ultimately will be valuable to read from our community, our larger community, and sort of whether you are getting into like a young learning designer, or whether you've been working at it for 10 years, that those will kind of really be insightful on and will reach that level of both insight and research, and illuminate that. So this is a new framework that we're proposing for the report. We are still going to have the global trends report, which will also, synthesize that on a high level. These new trends. We'll have the regional briefs, which we hope all of you will contribute and give you another opportunity to, again, participate, bring others into the community. And then finally, a kind of high level engagement where you can be much more, will provide you the space to provide the level of detail and depth you want to do. So, and that'll come with some deadlines, a little bit with our timeline in a moment. But before we go to the timeline, Jonathan, would you like to add something, or I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if people are able to put
Yeah,
um, put actually questions in the chat.
yeah.
I mean, I
Karen
see some of
Alexander had her
you.
hand up. I don't know.
Yeah, I see some of you. Exactly. I see some of you are able to say hello, so means you could be writing, and we see that. So please also use the chat as a way to, kind of send a quick question, and we'll be happy to address.
Yeah. I did want to just add that, futures studies is actually kind of having a bit of a comeback. And I think a lot of people might intuitively understand why. Change is happening faster. And immersive studies, kind of a pseudoscience in a lot of ways, because the future hasn't happened yet. So evidence on something that hasn't happened yet is a little bit of a paradox. But as you know, the future is already here. It's just not widely distributed yet, right? To quote William Gibson. But we have a number of methodologies, and those of you if you haven't or you're not that familiar with future studies, and you are a researcher or familiar with research, you will find a lot of their methods, some of them quite understandable. Phenomenology, you could do the phenomenon of change that are happening in a particular, augmented reality, or maybe a subject like a case study on kindergarten and how that's changing with the introduction of technology worldwide. There's so many different things, and we've got some help on methodology that we'd like to provide, and as well as a list of methods that you may not know so well, but they're very engaging and very interesting. Things like cross impact matrices, or trend analysis, of course, Delphi study, which the State of XR expert panel has done for years. And I have a United Nations CD with a couple hundred methodologies for studying the future, and it's a pretty interesting space. And we'd like to encourage people to take a look at that. And you might be surprised that a lot of your research might really be shifted towards a futures methodology with very little effort. Because indeed, if you're in this space, you are a futurist, right? We're constantly dealing with change. So I wanted to put that little plug out there for those of you who are thinking perhaps of contributing something to the peer review. Well, that's enough of that. Are we ready to go to the next slide? Timeline?
All right. All right. So we're kicking off this early in November, and some of you had a preview at actually the summer iLRN conference, and some of you a little bit have already in gear, and we recognize that because you are present. Jonathon and I led a workshop at the conference. So right now, what we're doing today is we'd like to, actually have the opportunity to connect. The Discord server we envision will be a great place to do so. And those of you who have started to have some conversations locally can also engage and share that. And those of you who are getting started can also build on that. But right now, this is the kind of the co-open day. There are a number of, I think, of additional links, submission links that are coming in the next few weeks in November. But what's important today is to start thinking about that, who you may want to engage locally with, the possibility of existing partnerships beyond, scanning in for things in your region. And one of the things that futures do, we kind of look for signals, right? And so thinking about both things that have been taking place and some of the things that are kind of catching you by surprise, but a link to unexpected ways or making new connection between the field of immersive learning, immersive technologies, but also like the larger context, whether it's storytelling or social impact or climate change or heritage, just building on these additional STEM, of course, science and innovation. So all of these additional kind of extension that are happening, and this is something that you can kind of have your eyes out for kind of checking things on and trying to also bring those, share them in the discourse, and start to think about, how those may inform your regional brief. So in this kind of more informal part is mostly, bringing in that context. And that might be also some of these may signal potential partnerships, somebody you may be able to reach out to. So I think this is at this point, those of you who are thinking, we're doing something innovating in my lab, in our center, I'm very much relate to that. You can start thinking of whether this could be like an individual contribution or perhaps a contribution with somebody within the region or somebody within the neighborhood,
Mhm.
sort of where you are. I think that's just, and I think participating, also getting into the Discord, getting into some of the frameworks we're introducing there. Now, as we move into that phase, November, December, as I mentioned, we'll be sharing much more of this submission forums, but the submission deadlines are going to be very early in 2026. And that's something very important to note because we have a very ambitious, I think, target date for the 2026 release of the fourth edition of the report. And so in a moment we'll share the Discord with you. I see the chats and we're getting there. I'm glad that you're eager to get in. That's a good signal. So I think both Jonathan and I are excited about that. So, but really something to keep in mind, the deadlines will come very early in January for that first submission. And particularly these sort of curated papers that you may be authoring or co-authoring locally. So the deadline for those, they will be going to peer review and also back to you. And so that's what you're looking at, January 10th. We hope to get actually them through peer review, pretty aggressive timeline between January 10th and 25th, and come back sort of again for you to be able to make some revisions, edits where necessary, and have them camera ready by February 9th. So that's for all of us an ambitious timeline, but Jonathan and I are excited for us to get this going early in the year and hopefully something that you'll be celebrating throughout the year. So obviously, I think early in January, and then we get to party in June at the conference. And this year it's in Greece, so I'm very excited about that.
Great.
All right, so that is sort of that will be these deadlines will be both for the regional briefs and the pay and sort of the white papers, let's call them, or sort of more of like a regional paper submission. Again, because one, to be able to synthesize, and two, for you to have that moment of revision. And us, Jonathan and I, for years have been really interested in releasing the report early in the year because then it gives you this great opportunity to really use the report, within your work, whether it's research, whether it's teaching and learning, and locally with your stakeholders, with your students, with your colleagues, and as you plan for the rest of the year. So our target day today is March 15. I think we are going to be working a lot between January and March, accelerated.
Mhm.
And then what we traditionally done also is that, and will be great this year because you also, so many of you, we hope will contribute, is to have the showcase, meaning that then you can draw, even if you didn't submit in a white paper, you had an opportunity in the showcase to still submit perhaps a project that can be featured in a more digital way. But
Yep.
certainly, I think that the showcase we've done, we'll be featuring people who are already in the report. That's will be, you'll be invited, and every so often some of the attendees have been able to also feature some work in it. And I think, given that we definitely are looking at this expanded version, it's something to consider. All right, Jonathan, want to add to that?
Yeah, just to reiterate, the end of October is when our academic submissions to the iLearn conference go in, and November we call iLearn November. We're trying to activate our immersive learning, education, and design community and our immersive futures community to rally around these amazing. We had a record number of academic submissions this year, 100, over 100. And there's going to be just amazing peer-reviewed research at this conference, both online and in Athens. But now it's activation of our education and design team, our community, and our futures community. Those are those who are interested on this emerging edge that the research isn't catching. Research is usually like a year and a half behind because you got to gather the data, collect the data, you know, analyze the data, write it up. That takes a lot of effort and a lot of work and time. And so this emerging edge is because the technology and the change is happening way faster than the research. And this is really a good contribution to our community because we can showcase what's on this emerging edge at our conference. And we noted for the first decade of our conference that we were kind of missing that, sort of emerging edge. And so this is really, we think, a vital part of our ecosystem. So now that it's November and December, we want to collectively capture all of 2025, right? So together, we're in the Discord by our regions, creating popcorn of all these different scans that happened from January up till now. And then at the end of December, as we go to December 31st, the 2025 is over and it's time to analyze what happened last year because it'll be January of 2026. And that's what our group will do is collectively take everything that went into the scanning funnel, the Discord, and then figure out how to put that together into a great story and way of sort of showing the world what the world looks like in 2025 so I just wanted to add that piece, and I think the rest
Yeah,
of what,
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. We do have one question, which I think is a good question,
yeah,
coming from uh a way. I would probably mess up a little bit the name, but I want to recognize the questions. Can we contribute conceptual articles to the report where we can talk about regional perspectives? So I think the report will, I think, benefit most, and the readers of the report, um, by extension, by some evidence. So I think that it will be good if there's some case studies or some more some regional perspective that are coming in a way of some even emerging evidence. But I think if I think if it's just in the context of, kind of like, say, a policy agenda for the next 10 years, that is worth mentioning, that is worth kind of sharing, but it will be good, even better, if there's some evidence. In other words, if this is just a government or a regional framework for engaging universities or engaging, I'm using hypothetical example because my field is global education, has I've worked on the World Bank, so sometimes these more conceptual pieces, it would be good to establish some thread of evidence locally, because some things that are proposed may or may not happen. I mean, it's good to link them to something. It's not necessarily not, I think you can, but I think it will be part of seeing a regional perspective is I think it's important that is anchored in something, and that gives an insight for other regions and practitioners and researchers in teaching and learning. So I would just say it will be good to come in with some evidence, um, and also feel free to write directly to me and John, post, or as you work on those, if you feel like you have additional question. I mean, the Discord will be a great place for that too, but we are both available, right? So that will be my kind of point about conceptual work. And I'm just reading this from purely like sort of this one sentence. So it could not be what you're thinking.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Thanks, Maya. I just wanted to add my take on that in a certain sense that might just vary a titch. Is the discussions on our Discord? I think that like the pulse of what is happening in your part of the world, like how receptive are people, or what's the general sense of adoption? Are teachers really gung-ho to adopt it, but they're frustrated by the administration, or maybe they're, kind of stiff-armed about it because they're waiting to see whether it actually works. I mean, like, if you are boots on the ground in a particular place on the world and you have a sense of that culture, I think it's okay to talk about that in our discussion on the Discord, because other people who are also in your part of the world can weigh in on their perspective. And then it kind of becomes this interesting discussion about that context. So, um, what Maya said, and yes, I think talk about your sense of like what's going on geopolitically and culturally, technologically, sociometrically in the Discord to get a sense of that, because it might find its way into the report in a very telling kind of way. Yeah.
Okay, so I think with that, because I don't see any other questions, we can move forward.
Awesome. So we're really excited that we've got already a great group of leaders in each of our continents. And I'm excited to just do a quick showcase of the continental regional hub leads of our different uh, continents. We have the 5 continents. We're not counting Antarctica, although it would be really cool to see like a VR feed of what's going on live, in an Antarctica station or something when we could add it. But Jonathon Conquo, and many of you already know, she is an incredible researcher, evangelizer, technologist who's really been collaborating and building the capacity for XR across the continent of Africa. And Judith has graciously accepted being a lead for helping us to scan and develop the capacity for a report that covers the regional hub of Africa. The Asia Pacific, we have 2 more amazing longtime iLRN uh, contributors and incredible women who have developed in just amazing capacity in their own right, each of them. Minjuan Wang at the Global Institute for Emerging Technology at the Education Hong Kong University, and Erica Southgate at the University of Newcastle in Australia. They have both have a long storied careers. Both of them, as well as Judith, are members of the Circle of Scholars, and they have agreed to assist in developing the capacity for the regional hub, the Continental Regional Hub report on the Asia Pacific. In Europe, we have a large contingent of leaders, and I'm happy to see some of them in our call today. We have Tassos Makropoulos, Daphne Economou, Fridolin Wild, and Helene Maya, and they bring collectively an enormous potential. And Europe is just really taking off with XR at this moment, and I'm absolutely thrilled, and I know Maya is too, to have these 4 people with their representative groups joining us in the State of XR and Immersive Learning report to cover the European continental piece of it. So thank you, the 4 of you. Our continental regional hub for North America. Right now, nominally speaking, Maya and I have been doing this, and we sort of forgot to like resource our own continent as well. So we're looking for 2 leaders in XR who are willing to help us as continental regional hub leads. And that is, we know many of these experts, well, literally all of these experts are extremely busy people. But it isn't a nominal lead. There is some work involved, but we think we've designed this in a way that makes it useful and workable for some of you who are leaders in your field. Perhaps it's a member of the Circle of Scholars. Perhaps not. Perhaps it's somebody listening today or watching the YouTube video that'll be posted soon. But email Maya and or myself, and we would love to onboard and get you going. We'd like 2 leaders to share the load and create that diversity. So let us know. But North America, is one of the 5 important continents in our scan. In South and Central America, we have Eliane Schlemmer and Jorge Baca Acosta, 2 incredible leaders, also both members of the Circle of Scholars. Um, Eliane is in Brazil, and Jorge is in Colombia. Jorge is also our international chapters lead. So, as part of the State of XR and Immersive Learning report, we're looking to get chapters going. Right after this session, we'll have a chapters focus lead from the iLRN Montana group with Dr. Katie Hollick. And Jorge is our international chapters director. So we've got the toolkit and we've got specific ways that you can work with your colleagues in your continental region on your chapter to create sort of a zoom in focus of your piece of the continental hub. So within the South and Central American section of the Immersive Learning Research Reports, Jorge may have and his colleagues may have an iLRN Colombia feature, and Eliane may have a feature about iLRN Brazil, and so forth. We're looking for as many different chapters to create subsections within each continental region as possible. So get your chapter going and create a subchapter. That'd be great, or a focus piece. Yeah. What's our next piece here? Oh, so that's the global scan, and we should go to the Discord here real quick. I could do that now before we go into part 2. But that means
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna
think
have
this will
to.
be I think people have been asking for it. So I think this is a good opportunity to go to the Discord. I think in the North American context, both Jonathan and I were very well, obviously connected, will be contributing. But it would be great to bring similarly like a couple of other people to join that effort and also extend it. And so so please reach out to us. In working on that continent. We have I think a very good network of people and to celebrate some of the work that's taking place. All right. So so here comes the Discord. And let's
Yeah.
Jonathan, are you going to be able to invite now or right
Oh,
after this
absolutely.
session?
I will just go up here and say invite people and copy the invite, and I'll put it in chat here. But
Yes.
I cannot walk and chew bubble gum. So let me show you this. Well, no, here I don't think I can click chat. Oh, I can.
Yes, you can. I can go in if you want me to do that, and you can go ahead and
So in the chat is the Discord invite. So hop in within the next 7 days because it's only good for 7 days. We're not creating a permanent link to this for obvious reasons. But this is um, the Discord, and you'll see at the general text channel, it's set up basically, right? So people will hop into the text channel. We have our global scanning HQ, is one of our main categories, where we have kind of main discussion and announcements. We have instructions that are forthcoming in terms of the cadence and the specific things that we're asking people to do. We have a scan roundup that'll happen week by week, and we'll grab things from each of the continents and chapters and do a scan roundup. And we might use some of these, unless it's like, don't announce this, but we might announce these or put this into our weekly or our regular webinars that we're going to be doing between now and the end of January. Here's a spot for global discussion, so synthesis of different trends that we might see globally or disparate comparison and contrasts, that the analysis piece of it. Here's a spot for resources and links that are relevant for you all. We've got an AI use policy that's not quite cooked, but we're getting there on that. we've got a voice channel, I think just one, Voices of Immersive Futures. And then there's these sections, a category. This is why we created a completely different Discord just for this purpose, is we wanted a category for every continental region, right? That way you can have a scan and reporting channel for Africa, a discussion channel for Africa, and then as many chapters as starts getting developed. This is example Nigeria. You might have a Nigeria chapter space where they can work and create their capacity. So all of Africa has their own category in our Discord. And likewise, the other four continents have their respective spot. Asia Pacific has scan and reporting, they have discussion, and they've got an example, our South Korea group. Hopefully we'll be starting a chapter here soon. In Europe, similar, a scan and reporting space, a space for hosting discussion about things, analysis, differences, no arguing, never arguing amongst scholars and futurists and emerging tech. We never argue, right? It's just happy. That's, but be cool. So that happens. And then North America and South and Central America. Okay. That's basically the structure. So when you funnel in, when you join the Discord by answering that invite, come in. We really ought to have a space for you to say hello, but happy to have you. I see Paula's joined. I see Karen Alexander's joined. I see Tassos. I see Daphne. Woo, yeah. So we're starting to get a lot of people. This is awesome. And then find your location, find your hub, and start introducing yourself and putting in scans of things. So that's the basics around the Discord. Is there any questions, or Maya, would you like to pick up and add?
Sure. I think when you go on the announcement and the global, this is where today's call was. Obviously, we didn't expect you to be there, but this is also where upcoming. Oh, I was thinking that. Oh, you
Oh,
want me
sorry.
to share mine?
I'm so
Uh,
sorry.
yeah, I thought you're gonna just click on announcement since you were inside. I can like reset here too. Um, Hold on. I can
Real.
also.
I can see it.
Uh,
We're back
yes. Okay. So good.
on
So
the
if you
announcements.
Yeah, um so obviously this is today, November 8th announcement. Coming up in a few moments, we'll be announcing our second November date. And so this is where those dates, along with any additional registration links, will be shared under the global main, because in your local regions, you also, we hope, can host these virtual sessions in the format that suits you best. We also hope that you invite us, and so John and I, or both, can also kind of, when possible. And some of the reason we want you to do some regional is because we know, just as even today, timelines don't align very well when you're working globally. So I think you should go ahead and schedule things that work well within your timeline, time zone. And then we hope to hop in on and off when possible. So keep us posted, but also sort of the main type of virtual sessions for the entire community will be posted here. You'll see invitations. Some of you already on LinkedIn, on other social channels. So we'll certainly message them there. But now we have our own space. We envision a lot of kind of traffic to take place in the next 2 to 3 months. So one place to keep an eye on for these next virtual dates. As well as augmenting any additional announcements we may be doing.
Mhm.
So just wanted to highlight that section, John.
Great. Great. And like Maya said, we're looking for our regional hub leaders to host webinars and rally people within their continental space to get into our Discord and activate, as well as get chapters going. Chapters also can have webinars like Katie Hollick from iLRN Montana is doing in 9 minutes. So um, So we've kind of created this toolkit for iLearn for you to do webinars. We've got the Discord. We really want to, we're trying to create low-hanging fruit for people to grab onto, gobble down, jump in and get this going. So this will be growing in the next month. We want November to be absolutely hopping with education and design and futures activity here and within the main iLearn Discord. So good stuff. Are we going back to the
Yes, I think in the remaining time, we should go ahead and announce our next date, which I also am going to um, post it in the chat, but you can get us on that slide today, which is kind of the last slide. And our next sort of virtual session date um, for, again, now not actually like doing some more of a scan and starting to get into the process and starting to practice some of that as well. I give you an opportunity to share, have more questions. Would be taking place on November 25th. This will be pre-Thanksgiving for those of you who are in North America, and everybody in the world. It will be a Tuesday evening or a morning. And I just shared some of the kind of spotlights of time zones to give you an orientation to what that means for you. Um, but yeah, that is, I think, the kind of the last important piece. Now that we have the Discord, please like use it as a channel to send questions. If you
yeah.
feel like the question should reach us directly, because we, maybe it's a high level recommendation, suggestions, please don't hesitate, send them to us directly, or bring them in during that next virtual session.
Mhm. Yeah, and so we've got a few more minutes. I just want to end things if I might jump in here so we can skid to a halt before we fall off the cliff. Um, I wanted to let everybody know that if you're registered for this webinar, and if for those of you who are in attendance, that's you, you'll get a follow-up email again with the Discord invite with some resources and templates to get you started and a link to this November 25th session. So look for that in the very near future, perhaps the end of the weekend or the beginning of next week. And I think that's it. What about questions? What about interactions? Can we open up the mic? Where are we going? Who are we? What's going on?
I think people are in the Discord. I keep hearing the
Oh yeah.
the little the little yeah, Discord sort of sound, which means you're kind of making your way through it. Um, please post. I think there's always this moment of something being new and shiny, which is this. And please go ahead, introduce yourself, link to your lab, your center, your university, your department, your article, your book. Go ahead and make those introductions. And we hope that, obviously we'll continue to grow. And we hope to generate sort of this new version, which we really truly believe is only one of its kind report that not only has been in 3 edition, but now is expanding. So we're growing. We've been in kind of our early childhood phase, and now I think, going into being a very, you know, kind of expanding that and inviting everybody to participate, moving forward.
Yep. And this year we know is going to be a little bit crazy, a little bit messy, and not the everything we want it to be because we're we're inventing this with you as we fly it. I love the spaceship that Maya's in right now in her background. Um, we're co-creating this the like how it will work and the form it will work and getting it. We trying to squeeze in for the conference this timeline of publishing and creating this, and we had to kind of weigh the issues of our publications team being extremely busy with iLearn and wanting to have a legitimate published sort of elevated future community project. So thank you all for joining us and helping us to figure out what this looks like because next year it's going to be so much smoother, I promise.
But we've been swimming through waters, some rocky times, including through a global pandemic, and we were able to produce this report. So hold on tight. We're in this together. We've been able to do it 3 times. We absolutely are going to do a fourth
Yeah.
time, and we look
Me
forward
too.
to embracing all of you. And we've also learned, and as I said, we definitely have learned quite a bit along the way, as with all of these kind of global projects, and we will support that effort. And just raise your hand early in any way that we can support you. We'll be here to do so. And I think that's really a new chapter, and we want you to be part of it. And yes, it's going to take some work and it's going to take some time. But then, as I said, getting out early in the year, we get to celebrate a whole another 9 months,
Right.
including at the annual iLRN conference in Greece. So looking forward to getting to know those of you who've been in conversation, having more expanded conversations around this, and those of you who are new, just getting to know you, getting to know your work, and yes, and moving into producing the fourth edition for 2026.
Right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.